So I'm going to call this meeting order. Will you stand, every stand for pledge allegiance to the flag right over here.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One thing that happened last week that I would like to mention at this time, and the board would like a little bit of input on it if there's problems with it, anybody sees a huge issue with it, it is that they decided last night that the refunds of less than $2 on a payment on the tax bills will not be reimbursed. There won't be a check cut for that and then sent out. And the reason for that, and John and Donna can go deeper into that, but they're getting like 50-cent refunds and stuff, and people aren't cashing 50-cent refunds, so it's sitting there. This would save the town quite a bit of expense on that, stamps and uncashed checks and stuff like that. So if there's any input that anybody has for the board, we couldn't revisit it this next month yet. Yes, Dave?
You want to use the mic?
Oh, sure.
You need to turn it on because it's not turned on.
Okay. Is there any major concerns on that? Yes.
So I guess why are we wasting a stamp for 50 cents?
Well,
No, I don't think it's necessary.
if the stuff's mailed in, and that's what the board came up with, if it's less than $2, if they have to mail out the check and the stuff, so it's a stamp and the time of making out the check, and some of them, like I say, they're 58 cents and stuff like that. They're being rounded sometimes by the banks. Yes?
Could the resident come and pick up the money that he or she owed, rather than be mailing out?
So how do we, a lot of times all we have for the resident is a mailing address, so we'd be mailing out. Or you just say, if the person would come in after they're mailed a receipt, if they felt that they wanted it, then they could come in?
Yeah. If they want it.
That would require us having like petty cash for it then.
They could sign up for it, you could write them out a check. You know, ask them if they're gonna cash it or if it's just approve of what that,
Okay.
you know.
So like if they really wanted it, then mail it out to them at that time, or tell them that it's available and they come pick it up.
Right. What I would do is put a note in with their taxes.
No, she can't, no.
Oh, wait.
She has to stand behind it, otherwise she's gonna get back feet.
What I would do is put a note in with the taxes saying if you want the reimbursement, if your bank overpaid your taxes, you can come in and request it. You know, if that's what I would do, so,
If you got till just this year.
Right.
yeah.
We got a little bit of time to revisit it yet, so. All right.
Well, how long do you hold that for?
Hold what for?
That money? If they don't answer it, is it, you know, I'm just thinking.
I think they're gonna turn it back to the state.
If nobody responds, does the township just hold that money for how long?
Because
It's just something to think about.
I think they need to send that back to the state if that's overpaid. You'd have to check on that one, but I think that's how that works.
I think the way that came up is that I think that we have one account that has one penny.
Right.
So we're going to do this to everybody for the 1 penny? Tom, didn't you say you tried to contact the guy?
He actually called me back today.
Yeah,
He said cancel the check. I don't need the penny.
yeah.
But by rights, okay, so he's overpaid, so what they're doing is they are refunding them that 1 cent.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to get away from is I know last year on there was a
How
couple of
many
1
of
centers.
these
But I think if
Yeah.
you keep that money, there's a process you have to go through. You're gonna have to check on that, because I think that needs to be sent back to the state.
Okay,
You don't get to just keep it.
okay, well,
I could be wrong, but I would definitely check into it.
Well, other townships are doing it, though.
No.
but they may be sending it back to the state too. So
Yeah,
we
who
can
knows?
check on that, definitely.
I know
Yes.
I didn't overpay, so I'm not.
Don't that happen a lot?
Every year.
Yeah,
There's always
I bet you it does.
pennies here, pennies there. Yeah.
They pay the escrow along with that second on what it is.
That's why I don't have a problem.
You have last year's minutes, John? Yeah, I know.
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'll come up with those.
Good, how are you?
Good.
No, that's what I said. She's gonna know who she is now. She's trying to be very nice.
So in the past, one of the questions was, how many times, how many people overpay, their banks overpay? Is it around like 5, 6, 10?
I don't know what he's been the last few years, but in the past, we put up quite a few checks, overpaying checks, but not too many that are paid in or something. They get, the mortgage companies get that pretty correct.
You want to read, John?
I think you need a longer close.
Yep.
The minutes from the budget hearing, November 18th, 2021. It was called to order at 6:05 PM by Chair Rod Bauer with 60 electors present. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Proposed budget handouts were reviewed. Motion D. Durfus waive reading of minutes. Gary Mayu second and approved as presented. No discussion, approved by voice vote. Proposed budget. George Durfus FD increase. Rod repairs to engine 10 of foam system and plumbing system. Foam system non-operational. Fittings and corrosion. Do all repairs at one time, which is the reason. Foam in 5-gallon pail. Used at roughly 0.3%. Class A. Purchased through DNR. Approx $35 a pail. How hazardous is the foam? Class A approved by DNR for use on wildland fires. DNR says safe, it's safe. Class B is not safe, use sparingly. Dollar amount for foam, approximately $25,000. Can fire department get along without foam? Question mark. Maybe, truck still needs repair. Allison Mayu, how much of Fall Fest is going towards repair of engines? Fire department doesn't feel that the engine is the project, compressor is the project. $20,000 from Fall Fest going toward that. Repairs in how many years of out of repair? Running without. Roughly 20 years. Not had foam for last year and a half. Durfus, others have? Question mark. Call mutual aid. Issue is the response time of mutual aid. Cocal, don't think it does need to be there now, if not in use for a year and a half. RB, reason not fixed because hadn't had money. Last year the compressor was the priority. Truck is going to be worked on anyway. Kevin Steins, breakdown between the foam and the repairs needed. How does the foam work with other repairs? Not the water pump, it's the plumbing that is leaking. Mary Ortel, Highway Construction. Man explained grant, award, and area of repair. What is budget going to do to property taxes as proposed? D. Durfus. Capital Fire Department, $30,000, also applying for grant. How show need in grant when you are budgeting money? Can show a need due to records submitted of air quality test. Lori can't guarantee get grant. AFG 5 years ago for SCBA. Where's financial need? Question mark. Mary O. How many fire calls? Lori pull up on system. Fire 4, EMS 40, hazardous condition 1, service call 2, good intent 3, false alarm 5, structure fires 4 that know of for mutual aid. Rod, engine 10 is usually left in McMillan to protect the township when other rigs are on MABAS calls. Pete Kaiser, do you see the truck becoming a fire pit? RB, trucks designed to put foam on in order to carry less water. Got along without because we were lucky. What's worst case scenario? Run out of water and lose a structure. Joe Berger, we're talking about $25,000, and if it saves my house, thank you. ISO is at 7 or 8. Water on wheels, ladder, rescue, roster, and proximity to residents is taken into account by insurance agents. Ortel talked to his agent, McMillan, at 9. Road construction line item is a Band-Aid with budgeted amount. Man is priority, then Zig and Winterberry. Old Sugar Bush needs to be addressed. Open to anyone putting a list together with priorities. Schultz, how are roads prioritized? Seifert, don't know how thinking was in works when got here and followed through on. Larry C. Hafer, Zig is dead end road, why turn dead end Weeping Willow to gravel? Weeping Willow was a chip seal that went bad, turned to gravel due to lack of funds. When applied for grant for man, was the bike trail included? Question mark. Seifert, it was not. Bauer did not see a lot of interest in a bike path after participating in the JPC meeting. Community picnic reduced $500. Assistant Chief raise was also cut during workshop. It is on the proposed budget. Foam cleanup at residence and the foam being carcinogenic was questioned. Cleanup is a responsibility of the homeowner. D. Durfus, no problem with levy amount, problem with budgeted repairs for foam. Kevin Steins, overanalyze every item. Cascade is to fill bottles to maximum of 4,500 PSI. Whole project was $50,000. Tank had bottles at 4,500 PSI. Upgrade system by upgrading bottles. Lori, compressor down for 1 month after failing an inspection. Inconvenient to go to the city for tank refills during their working hours. As elected officials, consider what was said at the meeting when making decisions at board meetings. Consider the safety of the firefighters. Motion Durfus, second by Schultz, to adjourn the hearing at 7:34 p.m. Then immediately the special town meeting of electors was called to order at 7:35 p.m. with 58 electors present. The electors present established the means of voting. Olson, motion, Durfus seconded, vote by ballot, no discussion, carried by voice vote. To approve the 2021 tax levy to be collected in 2022 pursuant to Wisconsin statute 6010 sub 1A. Dave Swenson moved to approve levy $541,183. Cheryl Imhoff seconded. No discussion. Motion carried 34 yes, 24 no by ballot vote. To establish the compensation of elected officials or elected town officers pursuant to statute 6010 sub 1B1 of Wisconsin state statute. Motion, Dorothy Olson moved to leave elected town officer compensation at current rates. Catherine Wyman seconded. Motion carried by voice vote. Motion to adjourn special town meeting of electors, Deb Durfus, Gary Mayu, at 7:54 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Patty Rand, clerk.
One thing I know it needs to be put in there, the pump or the phone system was not down for 20 years, it was only down for 2 years. So I think it's just a typo. Anything else, anything else that was here last year that saw anything in that? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve with corrections.
I'll second that motion.
Bruce seconded?
Bruce Wyman, 209291 Galvin Avenue.
I have a motion and a second to approve last year's minutes with the corrections made. I do believe we missed one small thing here. Do we want paper ballots on this, or?
Make a motion that we, if there's anything to vote on, it is done by paper ballot.
I need a second. Gary on that?
So, the motion was on the floor. I don't think that, I think that motion, the first motion has to be voted on before we can vote on it.
Everybody okay with a show of hands on the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor, raise your hands.
Hands or hand?
Hand. One. Or is it two of you?
Majority of candidates vote.
Those opposed, raise your hands.
Is that only one hand?
One person. Minutes approved. Let's go on to this. Can we go on to the second motion then? I have a motion and a second that all further voting will be done by paper ballot. All those in favor, raise your hands.
You said 15?
Yes, there are, 29 people present, but only 27 are eligible to vote.
So we do a paper ballot?
To do paper ballots for stuff like that.
Yes. Okay.
You didn't ask if you opposed the motion.
Those that oppose, raise your hands.
6, 7.
Can somebody tell me who seconded that motion?
Yes. Gary Imhoff. Yay. 7 nay. Thanks.
Ready to move in the budget, John?
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to request that you people up there, please speak a little louder. Even with your mic, we can't hear John either.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
give John the mic when he's talking about the budget.
budget is presented.
Does everybody have a paper copy that wants a copy?
Take one.
Everybody had a chance to go through it?
Did everybody have a chance to go through it? Sorry about that. Is there any questions or discussion issues on that budget?
I have,
Yes, Nicole?
why isn't the chief getting a raise? The other employees are, but why isn't the chief?
The chief doesn't want to raise.
Not this fall anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, the plan commission, how come that was reduced? I think Dorothy requested more than what you've got on there for planning.
Can you say that again?
The plan
The
commission,
question was,
they-
why was the planning commission budget reduced? And the answer is based on prior year and current year usage.
You haven't paid everything yet this year. You got all the payroll yet.
Any other board members want to comment on that? If you were here at the meeting. And that is the answer.
What page are you on, Jen?
Pardon?
What page are you on?
Number 5. Towards the bottom.
And what was the question?
Why was it reduced?
Why was it plan commission? Because all we requested at the meeting when we went, that it be left the same, because if we don't use it, it goes back into the general fund anyways. But if we have to review the comp plan, which is supposed to be done yearly, chapter 17, any special budget, hearings that we have to have, any meetings, it was covered. Nothing was said to the plan commission that we were taking a cut.
I do remember that conversation.
Pardon?
I do remember that conversation.
Yeah.
What, cut it?
No, that we,
Exactly what.
that's
what
right,
you
if we
said.
didn't use it, it just goes back
She
into general
explained
fund,
that.
which is what all entities do.
Well, who made the choice to cut it? I mean, I thought each department put in what they needed for and went from there.
Read down on the bottom of page 5.
At your workshop, is that what you had decided?
I don't remember honestly.
Because your last workshop was the same night that we had a plan commission meeting.
I don't specifically remember bringing that topic up there at that point. I do remember you talking about
Yep.
just what you just said.
Yeah, our special workshop.
Then who made the decision to cut it?
for the board.
The board will take that under advisement, and we'll, at our next meeting, when we discuss the budget again, we'll go over that. I don't think it was intentionally cut down that far.
Yeah, you have payroll coming on that then.
Yeah. After looking at it, I don't think that was the intent on that. Because I don't remember us cutting anything out of that on the workshop when you guys had your meeting.
Right.
I don't remember that being discussed at all. It was discussed when you were present, so. Is there any other questions? Yes.
So then will we be voting on the budget as presented, or as you guys discuss it next
You
time?
vote on the levy.
What's that?
You vote on the levy.
Okay. We're just discussing the budget.
Yes, we're just discussing the budget.
This paper is a guide. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
But for like the planning commission's budget, that is important for her. That is an important aspect of it, just as it is for the fire department, or the highway, or anyone else. Is there anything else?
I don't know if
Yes,
this is
sir.
the proper time or place, but you got 2,500 for the community picnic.
Yeah.
Is that gonna happen, or is it gonna be a hatchet job like last year?
Because this year, as it's going through the process here, and you guys are voting on stuff with the budget and that stuff, it can happen. And we can bring it up one more time, I believe, in April at the annual meeting, and you guys can vote on it, and then it can happen. And that's legal that way, right, Ms. Lopez? The way that the state says it's supposed to do.
We voted on it every year in the budget, but it's been in there.
But it wasn't last year. Last year was taken out.
No, last year we moved it to highway, okay? And with the agreement that we would just take the money out of, the park funds in order to have extra money in the highway department. That's what we did. We didn't eliminate anything. We just, we're trying to be somewhat frugal.
Well, it basically took it out of the voting of it.
No,
We
it
didn't
didn't.
vote on it separately. It was gone.
No, it wasn't. It's still there. It shows from last year on here. And it even shows on your expense sheet through the year. Still in there. What you looked at last night at the meeting, still on
The
there.
bottom line is, you did a hatchet job on that picnic because you didn't want it. That's the bottom line. You know it, I know it, anybody sitting there that, you know, got a brain knows it. I'm asking, is that gonna happen this year? Or are you gonna do a hatchet job again?
If there's someone that's gonna take the picnic by the horns and do the job, yes, then there will be.
Every year, them two right there again. You know that.
I'm moving on.
Don't like to hear it, do you?
Is there anything else for anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, you just said that it wasn't in the budget last year, but it shows on here it was, so I don't understand.
My understanding is it was removed because they took it out of the budget and it was supposed to come out of the savings account, so it wasn't in the budget. It was moved, that $3,000, I believe it was moved, 2,500 was moved over to highway. Once it's moved over to highway, it's no longer part of the picnic. And when it's not there, it's not there.
Right, but they never moved it. They never changed anything on your paperwork.
Okay.
Another question I have is your, total under your ambulance, didn't that go up to 66,000? It's on page 4.
Yes, it did.
Okay, so the 65,000 is incorrect, right?
Correct. And the reason for that is we put in, I believe we went up 8%, but instead of using the actual, what we actually paid this last year, they used the estimated from the year before. That's the mixed dealer. We're aware of that.
It actually went up 7%, not 8.
Right, but we put 8 in the budget for this year, but because of, we were going on.
Well, that number
estimated
needs to
before.
be changed to what, 66 what?
But it was only
Right. Right.
What was the amount that it has to be written as?
Really sort of mistake.
Anyone else? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting, the budget meeting, period.
You need to.
I think that happens in special town election meeting.
Right, so we have to go out of this.
You would adjourn the budget hearing, and
Yes.
then you will call it to order, so.
That's what I just asked.
So you want me to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes. I need a second now.
I've got Deb Jervis as the motion, Jim Opitz as the second.
We're doing everything by paper ballot, we need to hand out ballots.
Just do a show of hands. This isn't anything for, to adjourn the meeting? Yeah.
All those in favor, please raise your hands.
I'm sitting here all night.
Unanimous.
Oh, you want it?
Now I call over the special town meeting of electors. And because we're into a new meeting, I also need to ask for request of a motion for our voting method.
Make the motion to use ballots. And you can second.
Second it.
All in favor, raise your hand.
A little higher, so you can catch them all.
What are we voting on?
How we're gonna vote.
Pardon me?
How we're gonna vote. With ballots or,
Paper ballot.
Oh, we did that.
That was a different.
that was a different meeting.
The other way. No,
Yeah, we
we're-
bypassed it anyway.
Do you have what you agree?
I don't. It depends what I can put your vote on.
Yeah. You don't know what you're gonna come up with.
You wanna call for notes, you know, see if call for notes.
Anybody against paper ballots?
Motion carried?
Motion carried?
Pass out your ballot.
We need to discuss for just a second, wasn't the motion would be now to the town levy? Have we mentioned that?
Oh, that's what you need ballots.
That's what you need your ballots for, yep.
You got two items on the agenda, Ron? Two items on the agenda,
There's only 2 items on the agenda.
so then we all need 2 ballots.
The agenda items are approving the 2022 town levy and compensation for elected officers.
Sorry.
Just so you know, Rod, you'll never beat my 3-minute budget meeting on December in COVID.
Yeah. It's like, I believe.
So everybody else, what is the, what is
Assuming they're gonna tell
They could read them, we all
Yeah, you are gonna read that, right? Because we can't see it.
cataract surgery.
We all have to, just.
levy.
Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, sorry. Being we, there's some extra, John.
I had a request if we read the numbers. Not all the way through.
You got a pen down there?
Okay, so I will read the proposed revenue, then the expenditures, and then this bottom portion, the levy, equalized value, and mill rate. So the proposed general property tax levy is $541,129.72. Intergovernmental revenue is $313,401.92. Licenses and permits, 5,340, I'm sorry. Public service charges, $222,500. Miscellaneous revenue, $100. For total revenue of $1,082,471.64. Expenditures, general government, $142,765. Public safety, $175,750. Public works, $580,093. Culture, recreation, education, $125,197. Conservation development, $3,250. Capital outlay, $30,000. Debt service, $25,508.72. For total expenditures of $1,082,471.64. The budget does balance. So with that total proposed levy of $541,129.72, based on the town equalized value of $235,582,000, the proposed mill rate would be $2.30.
I'll make the motion to approve the levy as presented.
There's some questions back there, Rod. The question was, why is the mill rate going down? And the answer is the equalized value increased.
Study this.
Is there anything else, or is that all the same question with those three hands?
Oh, you should get a second on the motion before going into discussion.
I need a second now.
I'll second.
Now discussion.
Now discussion, I guess.
Can we have,
Yes.
excuse me, I wanted the motion repeated.
Oh, I made the
Sorry.
motion to approve the levy as presented.
Thank you.
Yes.
How much money are we carrying over anticipated?
Depends on what the bills are, so somewhere around $500,000.
We're projecting approximately $500,000.
Carryover
Correct.
from
But
last
that's
year?
also, you're including ARPA funds.
The ARPA money is included in that, yes.
Okay.
Which is 220?
Yeah,
220 approximately, yes.
300
is what the carryover
is
will
what the
actually.
carryover is.
Yeah, that's based on our best estimate. That could change. I've not been in this position long enough to be able to know the cadence of the invoices and stuff every year. Another question from Sherry.
What's the ARPA fund? Can you explain the ARPA fund or whatever you
Oh,
said?
so the question from Sherry is what is the ARPA fund? So that's municipalities got money based on whatever divine intervention that the government has on how to distribute money. It was from the one of the coronavirus relief acts from the federal government. McMillan's portion was $220,000 approximately.
I got it. Okay.
Yes.
With that extra carryover money, what are you gonna designate it for?
Tom, you want to come up and explain some of your road projects that you got coming up here?
Sure.
Sir, can you tell me your name?
Clarence Martel.
And the question was, what are we gonna do with,
What are you designating?
Designated monies.
Carryover money?
I think it's way worth it.
Okay, we designated $250,000 to go towards man. What happened is, we did get a grant for man. We actually applied, when we first started to apply for the grant, we started out at 2080. And then when it went to the county, they suggested to us we go to a 70-30. So that's what we did. They said we'd have a better chance of getting it at that 70-30. So we did that, county passed it, went to the state. The state put us into a category where they basically say, this is the money that we have and this is how we're gonna divide it. Ended up being basically a 50-50. It's like a 49-51 is what it come out, okay? So our portion of that is just shy of $600,000 for 1 mile of man, okay? So when we got that, we didn't have the money to do that. We were thinking we were gonna get like $200,000 that we would have to pay our portion of it. Ended up being $600,000. So at that point, we started looking at different ways that we could get a surface on man. And went around and got quotes, and just for budgetary purposes, this isn't a true solid quote, but as good as we could get, to do put a base course on, grind the whole 2 miles this is of man, grind it and resurface it with 3.5 inches and put shoulders on it, was gonna cost us about $750,000 to $785,000 to do the whole thing. So I started thinking, well, if we only have to come up with 200,000 more and we can do the whole 2 miles and still get 20 years out of this road, I think personally that's a better way to go than spending $600,000 on 1 mile. So that's where we're sitting. So
But
we have.
The 1 mile with the grant is a total reconstruction.
It was.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Yep. So right now, we carried over $250,000 that we're gonna designate towards that man to hopefully get that done.
But there's 500,000.
There's 500,000. So,
Why can't you use the whole thing?
and I'm not saying that, we're gonna try and use as much as we can, because I've gone to the bank, and we wanted to bring that up tonight too, that I've actually gone to the bank to see if we can get a loan for this, and we can get a loan. We are approved to get the loan, but we can't get solid prices until spring.
For how much are we approved for the loan?
Up to, we went in there with the $250,000 to $400,000 we put towards it, and we were looking at $1 million is what they would go up to, is what we have basically a handshake saying that you're good for this.
But how much is the town gonna borrow?
We don't know yet. I don't know until spring. Okay? So right now, we designated the 250 because we knew we were gonna have that. It looks like we're gonna have more. So I hope that we're gonna put more towards it. But there's a lot of other stuff going on in this township that needs help. Okay? Right now, we have culvert out there, culvert aid for 2 culverts that have gone out, are going out. And that's $50,000. So we budgeted for those two, and we have two more we have to do. We have, all of our roads in this town, honestly, are just, they're worn out. The lifetime is past the life of them. I mean, we're looking at a lot of roads are 20, 22 years old right now. We have chip seal. I got information on chip seal. I'm putting something together as far as our chip seal roads. Right now we have 10, 11 miles of chip seal roads that need help, a lot of help. Okay, I have a price of $30,000 a mile to do chip seal, and that's just them putting the chip seal down. That's not repairing the soft spots in the road first, okay? We have approximately 15 miles of blacktop roads right now that need a lot of work on them also. I haven't even honestly dug into what it's gonna cost to do what with these 15 miles of blacktop roads. So I'm hoping that if we have enough money, we can actually use, I think the culverts are mandatory, that we gotta get these things replaced. So we have 2 culverts right now. There are 2 more culverts besides the one we went into aid for. We're waiting on what size we can actually get. I have a feeling that we're gonna have to put 2 in versus 1 bigger one in. And we're looking at basically $30,000 for those.
What size culverts are they? Are
Um,
they bigger than 36?
they're 54 inches.
Then there's a 50/50 with the county on it.
We did do 2 of these, were bigger culverts, and we did get this is what we applied for with the county, yes. The 2 of them that we have applied for help with, yes. The other 2, we were waiting on answers on how big we can go. I don't think where they're going that we can get the bigger culvert in. I think we're gonna have to put 2 of them in, side by side.
Does that gotta be county approved or engineered?
Yes, that is why we don't know the size of it yet. Yep. And we have actually been in contact with them the last couple of weeks here, because they got our request and they've been asking questions on stuff, so they are on top of that. Yeah, but we have not gotten that answer on that. Yes?
So just a question, and maybe it's a stupid question, but if we have crappy roads, which I agree with, and I don't hear a lot of people telling you you're wrong on that, why are we dropping mill rate? Because it's my understanding it's very restricted in terms of raising it in the future.
It's a law.
So we're required to drop it?
So the mill rate is just the mill rate. It's the only thing that the town can do is they can set the levy, the total amount to be collected, and then the mill rate is just based on the equalized value. So the levy in here is the max levy that the town can assess. Without the voters saying they want to exceed the levy and this is the max through the calculation or whatever. There's a worksheet that you can do. The voters can approve to like exceed the levy, but this is the max that's available.
Okay, thank you.
So anyway, with that money, there is a lot of other stuff we have to do. And I mean, this last year, honestly, we did put a Band-Aid on a lot of stuff, because I honestly went almost a whole year without knowing what we had for money. I did. It was really tough, and we didn't do a lot this year, and we did minimal. We made it through. Now hopefully we can get some of this money and we can do some of this stuff that needs to be done. And in my personal opinion is the culverts have to be done, because if you have a culvert collapse, then it's not gonna be a good thing. So that's my first priority. Second priority is getting Man done. That's gotta get done. There is a lot of traffic on that road, and it was suggested to me put it back to gravel. I did check into it. It's gonna basically cost $187,000 to put that back to gravel. That's just getting it to gravel. That is not maintaining that road. My opinion, I think Pat would probably be over there, honestly, twice a week with the amount of traffic on that road, if not more, grading that road. Now, I did call the DOT and talk to them about this, and they gave me a Rod also gave me this same website, and I went on and looked at the information, and their recommendation is when you have traffic amounts of 400 to 500 cars on a road, it should be a solid surface. So if we got 3,000 to 4,000 cars on that road, and even if we go to gravel and that cuts it in half, that's still 1,500 cars. That's still 3 times more the amount for the recommendation that state says you should have a hard surface. So I checked into it. I personally will not turn that road back to gravel. I'm gonna get a blacktop so that it's safe for the people, because there is a lot of people using that road. So that would be, and then our chip seal roads, if we don't start doing something with these roads, they are gonna be back to gravel. It's plain and simple, they are. So, and that, again, and people that live on those roads aren't gonna say that because of the dust, okay? And that's, I get so many calls for dust control, okay? So now, you got people on these roads that we're turning back to gravel, and now you're spending money on dust control also, okay? So it's not just...
What's gonna be cheaper, dust control or chip seal?
In the long run, I bet it's probably a wash. Yeah, because you're continually putting gravel on these roads. You're continually maintaining them with the grader. Then you're putting not just the dust control down, it comes into your maintaining them also. Now, and look at this too. Okay, now our grader is an old grader. We tried getting some parts for this thing. Okay, yep. Hey, I'm just telling you what I see. All I can do is bring you this information. And you as the people of this township have to vote on it. I'm just bringing you the information. Our grader's an old grader. We tried getting some parts. We were actually, the guy we got the parts from found a couple of the things he needed and was surprised that he actually found them.
What year is that?
I'm thinking I don't know the year offhand, but it's 20 years plus old.
What does a new one cost?
Anywhere between $750 and $1 million basic.
Why do we need you?
I don't think we need you. I was just asked that question.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm just saying,
So-
why would we need you?
Right,
So,
but that's, I mean, it just keeps snowballing. And we as a community have to decide. Okay, when I moved in here 22 years ago, John Bajowski told me that it's a great community, and he sold the fact that we're gonna have blacktop roads, everything a mile within, you're not gonna have to go a mile to hit a blacktop road. That's what he told me 22 years ago. And then he was talking about the fire station, okay, the fire and rescue. It was awesome out here. And I believe it. Back then, everything was exactly what he said. But now these roads are starting to deteriorate. And if we don't do something with them, they do either go back to gravel, which I don't want to see that myself, living in this community. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, these roads are old. They have not been maintained, and we have to put some money into them, or it's going to get ugly out there. It really is.
So in order to fix these roads, our taxes probably are gonna have to go up, I'm assuming, right?
either that or the
Possibly.
laptop and chip
You know,
seal
if-
go down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did everybody get your?
okay, so
No, let me
possibly,
finish.
George.
Let me
I
finish.
don't know.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I don't need a microphone, I got a big mouth. Did everybody get their survey from Marshfield School District today?
I have not been handed with the mail
Boy,
yet.
you're gonna be in for a real shocker when you open your mailbox.
Oh,
$99.5 million referendum these towns want.
That's only the first one. That's the first referendum.
So, but the point being, if they get this, and they probably will, because you know how this stuff goes, everybody, you know, poor little Johnny ain't gonna be able to speak Polish. And we can't afford the taxes. We just plain can't. You know, and I understand, you know, the roads are shit, I agree. The one that we got is garbage, you know, but that's life. But I grew up in McMillan. We grew up on gravel roads. Have no problem with gravel roads. It's dusty, yes. And as far as the grading business, big deal, give them something to do.
I'm sorry, but Pat does have a lot to do, and I think Pat does a good job. And in fact, that's another one of my issues. Pat's getting to retirement age. we don't have an apprentice here. When Pat leaves and retires here, and I'm guessing it's gonna be within 2 or 3 years, my guess, I have no idea. Haven't talked to him about it. This is just me speculating. But we don't have an apprentice here to take his place. He knows this township. Who are we gonna find that gets the money he gets and does the job that he does? And I'm sorry, Pat does a hell of a job in this township. I don't care what anybody says, and I'll go up against anybody that talks bad about him. Because I called him at 9 o'clock and got him out of bed last night. It was 9:30. Because I saw a car sliding around when I was going home from the meeting. He got up, he came in, and he did the intersections last night. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people in his position that probably wouldn't have done that. I get up at 5 o'clock, I'll go in and do it at 5. He got up at 9:30, out of bed, and went and did it. That to me, I'm sorry, but that's an employee. It really is.
I disagree with you on that one.
And that's fine, you can.
About that, some people wouldn't get up. My dad worked for Meriton County Highway Department for 29 years, and if that phone rang, Pa was gone.
And I agree with that, George. You know why? Because it's of that age. You don't find that, and that's what I'm saying. People want a lot more money, and they don't want to do the work anymore. And what I'm saying is, when Pat retires, this township is going to be hurting. Because I tell you what, I get phone calls when the ditches aren't mowed. I do, George. Okay.
But the point I'm going to make is, when Sooner, you didn't know, was you here when?
I know who he was, yep.
Okay, he was one of the best goddamn road guys ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this man was tops. He would blow anybody else out of the water. Okay, so when he was going to retire, they hired Pat, and yeah, I'm not bitching that he does a bad job. I think he does a fine job, you know. But Sooner was tops. You ain't going to surpass what he did. So the point being, they found somebody.
But Pat was like an apprentice, though. Pat was working with him. Pat was working with him before he got the full-time job, and that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Pat was learning this stuff before he got the full-time job and stepped into it. What I'm saying is that whoever comes in here is going to be blind to what's going on.
Well, not if you do the same thing that they did back then. You hire somebody ahead of time, say 6 months.
Okay, now I need money to hire somebody. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's enough people out there that do road work that are applying all the time at different places. Construction workers. Yeah.
I'm not saying these people are not there. Okay?
They're out there.
What I'm saying is, we are not going to find anybody to step in his shoes, fill his shoes for the money he's getting and the job he does. I honestly believe that. There's people out there that will come and take the job, I have no doubt, and they'll probably do a good job in time. But the citizens are going to suffer until they get up to speed.
Not silencing them. I'll guarantee you that, Tom.
I'm just speaking my piece. I'm just trying to help everybody see what I see every day right now. I do.
I'll
I
tell
see
you
it every
what,
day.
you've got highway workers that are out there at 4 o'clock in the morning for the county, for the small townships in the area. These guys all go out, so.
They get bigger wages too.
They do.
Where?
Their wages
You
are
mean
bigger.
like county?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, county does, but not by a heck of a lot.
And
No, it's not.
1 second, please. And on the same thing, when we didn't have anybody help Pat out last year, I called no less than probably 20 people that I personally know that drove plow trucks and did heavy equipment to ask if they could help out. Nobody wanted to do it.
Should have called, I'd have found you somebody.
Should what?
Should have called, I'd have found you somebody.
And everybody
I
knew
bet
we were
in
looking for.
5 minutes- in 5
Everybody
minutes I
knew we
could
were
have
looking for.
somebody.
Oh my Lord.
I know one right now I
Okay.
can call.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, I think she had her hand up before me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can we come up with like a 5-year plan for what roads need to be worked on next?
I actually have a plan.
Oh, you do?
Right now.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
okay.
Yes.
Are
Yeah.
you bringing it to like the next board meeting, or did you?
I
I haven't
can-
been to the last.
I can bring it
couple.
to the next board meeting, and I was asked this like 100 times.
Yeah.
And I've been asked the same, I've asked the same question, where's the plan that was supposed to be there? There was
Yeah.
supposed to be a plan, okay? So I did put a plan together.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the next 5 years. What I did is I prioritized what I think is important to do. Okay, so
Well,
I
think
have,
that helps gauge.
I have
like,
man, I have culverts, and they're listed which ones they are, how much they're gonna cost.
approximately how much this project will be. I have the chip seal roads, and I have the top 5 listed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in priority that I think should be done first. I have blacktop roads. I don't have anything as far as prices on them, but I do have the ones that need the most work. I do, I
Well,
actually
we know
have it in
prices
my
are
notebook
gonna
right
change
here.
every year and just go up,
It will,
but.
yep. And I didn't do it last year.
Tom, we
Couple
had-
reasons.
We had a CIP plan through 2026.
I know, and you told me that, and I'd
You
asked
had
for
to
it, I
have
never got it.
submitted it with the grant when you got that.
I couldn't follow anything last year because I didn't know what I had for money. Honestly, that's my, and you may call me a liar, you may say whatever, but that is my honest deal with, I didn't have a plan, I didn't follow a plan. It didn't matter if I had a plan or followed a plan because we honestly didn't have the money last year to do it. My budget was $56,000, and by the end of when I actually got my budget, it was closer to 36, I think it was, is what I had to do it with. And it's like, there wasn't much to do it. So, that's what it was. So it didn't matter if I had a budget or not, because I couldn't follow it anyway.
You had extra 2,500 to kibosh the picnic, so.
We don't need a picnic.
Yes. Gary.
Me?
Yep, sorry.
I don't, you know, I believe that if you're gonna do man, them bad spots gotta get fixed. You just can't grind the top off and put blacktop over it and leave the bad bottom. It's gotta be fixed or you're just throwing money down the drain.
Well,
And
it
if you're
wasn't
gonna
my,
do it,
it
it's gotta
wasn't
be
my
done
opinion.
right.
I brought people that do this every day, and they went out and walked this thing with me and showed me what we have to do up there. So, the prices include, the prices that we're gonna try to get include digging these soft spots up. But the base is actually a pretty decent base, I've been told. I don't know, personally, I don't know. But I can go off of experts and their opinions, and they tell me the base is actually a pretty decent base out there.
Well, I mean, you know the spots that they did
Yep.
previously,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, where they dug it down and put the breaker in.
Right.
I mean, and those, they held up.
They're still good areas, yes, they are. They're the nicest part of that road.
And that goes to show it's done right, how it lasts.
Absolutely. It's only as good as what the base is.
And you know, when you talk about just grinding the top off, adding some more and blacktopping it, I took it that you weren't gonna do anything with the base.
No, we have to do the soft spots, yes, yep. Yes, in the back?
So just to try and make this a little more simple for those of us who aren't so smart about all this stuff. With this levy and the associated budget for your area that's tied to it, do you have the money to do what you need to do, since there's a lot of roads that are crappy, not just man? Is the
No,
levy
no,
enough
no.
to get your job done?
Oh, no. This is gonna have to be a major plan. It really is, because
So does the levy need to go up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. It has to be on, it has to be published. It's not.
You can have an extra million a year and you never get it done.
I agree.
It just won't happen.
I mean, it's, and again, I think for years, we're gonna be putting Band-Aids on roads. I truly believe this, because they're extended out past their lifetime. And we have, so we have 30-some miles of chip seal and blacktop roads. And you're talking at minimum 30,000 a mile. That's very minimum. That's just for them putting the surface down. That's not digging soft spots up, putting culverts in, and that's just chip seal. That's not blacktop.
So it seems to me if you're not keeping up with your investment, you need to up your investment. You're digging yourself a hole that you're not getting out of, so at some point, something's gotta give.
That's
So
right
either
where we're at
roads
right
are
now.
really crap,
Yes.
or you increase the money you put into them.
Exactly. That's where, in my opinion, that is exactly where McMillan is right now. Our roads are extended past their lifetime. Not all of them. There are a couple that are good, but the majority of our roads are extended past our lifetime.
And she's right,
The
we're
whole
not gonna
country's
catch up
that way, Tom.
unless we raise taxes.
I'm not talking about the whole country. I don't really care about the whole country. Right now, I'm talking about McMillan, because these are the phone calls I get. I deal with the phone calls in McMillan. And I get phone calls, a lot of them. I get them on dust control, I get them on ditch mowing, I get them on potholes, chip seal coming out and sticking to your car, and rightfully so. That's what I'm here for, is to take those phone calls. I'm fine with that. But I'm saying is, this is where we're at, this is what I see, and we as a community have to decide what we're gonna do. And thankfully, we have enough to cover hopefully a couple more culverts that I was talking about that we didn't get the 50/50 for, and to get something done with Man Road. Done with that, those culverts are fixed, that's 4 big culverts we don't have to worry about. And man, if we get Man done, we can start on these other projects. But even at that, you know, Man is a big project. It's a big project. Well, absolutely.
And
That's exactly it. And that takes away from next year's
Yep.
2 or 3 culverts, or,
Yep.
you know, doing a mile of chip seal. Absolutely. But I think we have to get that done, because in my personal opinion, that is a dangerous road, and we are here for safety. And that road should be a priority, that road should get done. There's so much traffic on that road. I travel that road a lot, and there's so much traffic on that road. You can sit there at 9 o'clock at night, you can have 20 cars go by in 5 minutes. I mean, that road gets traveled. So,
Tom,
yes.
can you kind of just give us a synopsis now, start at the top? And just what the steps are that what you have in mind right now that you're gonna do,
Okay.
okay? Number 1 is man, or the culverts,
Both, Man and the culverts.
okay?
We have 2 that we applied for 50/50 with the county, okay?
Mhm.
We have 2 more we have to put in. We don't know what we can put in yet. We're waiting on that information, okay? So I would like to get those 4 culverts in this year, because they are going,
Like
okay?
this, like in the next 4 weeks?
And are there
He's
more?
talking
This next
Oh,
budget,
got
yep,
it.
the 23
Next
budget,
budget.
okay?
So, and then, I think I have heard that there are other culverts that
There
are
are.
very near to what you
There
are
are,
right
yep.
now.
But we're paving them along.
Oh, okay. all
And
right.
that is something that you can put in the plan to do these, you know, because everything is so expensive right now. I just wish prices would come down, because everything is so inflated right now. You know, these culverts are just crazy expensive. And maybe in another year they won't be, but right now they are. Asphalt, it went up 64%. It was supposed to come down this summer, and it's held steady. It's not coming down.
We might
So
be in that
it's
same
like-
situation this next spring.
You know,
too.
exactly. You know, what is gonna happen in the spring? And I can't even really get a quote until spring, because these companies, everything is so volatile, they won't give you quotes until spring now. So I was lucky enough to get some quotes for some people, so that I can at least try and throw a budget together for this stuff. But it was just budgetary, and this is, you know, a blanket, 30,000 a mile for a single coat of chip seal.
But you're not gonna have any problem using up.
Oh.
You've already prioritized.
If you gave me
so
$5
have-
million, I could use it up on the projects we have going easy.
I know that.
Easy, seriously.
Yeah.
And that's not looking at equipment or anything else.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
the roads.
So you feel like you have a good feel for where we need to be going?
I do, yes,
Okay.
yep. Now, whether or not you guys agree with that,
Nicole,
I can give you my opinion,
Well, I think everybody does.
but, yes, Nicole.
Are there more grants that you can apply for?
oh yeah.
There are grants, yep.
Okay,
And I
And
actually,
you
I
plan
talked to
to
the
do that?
DOT,
okay,
and he sent me a list of grants, and he gave me the top 3 recommendations that he told me to go after. And a couple of them were federal grants.
okay.
And he said that it's a little bit harder to do the federal grants, but the money's there, and they're already handing some of these grants out. And he said, so do the work, see if you can get the grant.
When are they due by? This year?
March.
Oh, we have till March,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Are you the one that applies for the grant, or?
I am,
Or who's
I am starting to look at this stuff, what I have to gather for information. But I'm hoping I can talk John into helping me with this, because I'm not good with computers. I'm not a computer guy. So, I'm hoping I can have John help me write these things. So yes, I am gonna be involved in this.
Very fast typers.
Yeah. You got grandkids, Scott?
Yeah, got
Me too.
grandkids, they can do it.
You're right.
Where are
Dorothy?
the other two culverts that you wanna redo?
The 1/2 is on Roman to the east of Galvin, down in that valley. 2 years ago, we had issue when we had the heavy rain in the spring. Went over that and washed it out. We had to backfill underneath that. So we wanna put a bigger culvert in there, and we don't think we can. I think we're gonna have to go side by side with that, with 2 culverts.
I know I go up Galvin and there's one's right there, it's a tributary of Sawyer Creek.
Okay.
There's a big boom there,
At the top up there?
Galvin.
Yes, at the, yep, up there.
Yeah.
I actually went and crawled in that culvert a couple weeks ago, and the culvert's actually in good shape. There's nothing wrong with that culvert, it actually has a concrete bottom in it. It's, the road is settling out and pushing out, and that's what's happening there.
Yeah, 'cause there's an extra layer
Yep.
on that road from
Yep.
Pitt north.
Exactly, and I actually, I have that on my list as far as cutting that out and bringing that back up.
He's got a question you wouldn't have to
Yes.
answer so long.
In 2002, if a lot of you people know, we had that tremendous flood. We had 10, 12 inches, and Dave can verify this. We hauled in 450 loads of base court out of this pit up here to get this township passable. And since then, there has not been a lots of work done in our township. You know, yes, there's a lot of good bases in there, but boy, there was lot of material come out of that pit up there. We cleaned that pit out. And it was all done by the firemen and certain volunteers. We did that in 2 days. So, take it from there. That's where there was lots of these roads are still washed out from that. And nobody realizes that.
Didn't FEMA pay for a lot of that, Don?
Everybody thinks
FEMA paid for a lot of
they're in
that.
good shape. Well, they are not.
They are not, no, they are not. No,
Amen.
they are not. Thank you. Any other questions? I'd like to keep this going. What's the motion?
There's a motion on the floor.
To approve
Okay.
the levy.
Okay, so, we're good? Thank you.
You want to read the motion?
The motion on the floor is to approve the levy as presented. Please vote.
Hold them in the half piece and we'll pick them up. Hey, did you get one on the radio station? No, up there.
I didn't hear the name, but I remember seeing some.
Me. Oh, don't worry, it's 7:50 in the morning. You like You said 2%.
Oh, yeah, you're like
Radio sucks.
Then I should agree. And that is what
No, I mean, it all comes back to
Well, like that.
He made a motion, I'm sorry.
The motion on the floor is to accept the levy
As presented.
as presented, which is $541,129.72.
Are you good for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do I go, yes or no?
You gotta be kidding me. No, she
Fry.
You can use that at home.
Turned on me like a dog.
You got too many ballots? Wait till the one that, let's go and ask for another ballot, and you know.
Everybody voted with just one piece of paper, right? I'm just,
No hard.
Did any of you not sign in that were able to vote?
somebody walked in, I know.
Oh, I got her. She, I
No,
got her.
some guy. who
This right
walked
here,
in.
he already signed it.
He did sign in, yes. So, one would sign in, two of us are non-residents, so about 27, and we have 28 voters on.
I didn't sign it.
Oh,
You didn't sign in.
I didn't sign it.
What are we gonna do?
You need to sign in.
throw out one of those votes.
Okay, so then, go ahead, give him the votes. So he, I'll put it on.
Legitimate.
The motion passes 20 yeses, 8 noes.
We have one item left on the agenda, and that is to establish compensation for elected town officials for 2023.
I move that we leave the compensation exactly where it is.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to leave the compensation exactly where it is. Is there?
Can I ask what
Yes.
discussion, what is it at right now?
$40 per medium,
That's what it's.
and it's salary.
They wanna know what the salaries are for the board.
Their salaries
Board
and your
members.
I mean, yeah, I know it's minimal, but
It's different for everyone. I know, right?
Yeah, so I think it's a $40 per meeting, like meeting allowance per diem, whatever you wanna call it. And then, I think the chairman gets like $2,000 a quarter and the,
I think it's 1896.
Yeah.
okay,
And then the supervisors get half of that.
yeah, 1896, that sounds right, per quarter. And then supervisors get half of that, so nine and some change per quarter.
when did that, get raised for the meetings, for the per diem thing?
They just did, a couple, 2 years ago? Wasn't it a year ago, 2 years ago, they raised that to 40?
Two, I believe it was.
Yeah, because it was 25 and we raised it up to 40 then.
Yeah, so you could save some money there, leave them where it was.
Well, would you rather have a motion to reduce it?
I can have it.
If it fails,
Any further discussion on this? Any more questions? Okay.
Vote is okay, because they, right now you have a paper vote requirement, so do they want to paper vote that? Yes, okay, paper vote that, yes or no? To leave, the motion is to leave them the same, yes.
Do you want some pen in the bucket too?
Yeah, please.
You're right. All those germs on those pins.
Nope, these are mine. Yep.
They took the one out this year, there's.
Anybody grab pens too?
Yep, That one where Carolyn got their law, Harley, should wait talking about this year. Yeah, I mean, those that wanna donate to the town and work, it's almost you know.
Plenty ways to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can even designate money if you wanna donate it to the town and put it on roads.
Yeah, people put it on.
Yeah, allowed.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to raise it, go for it.
Few years ago,
You have their list, if they want to do all those culverts, those few years?
I don't have it per se, I believe it's in the office, but I don't know.
Yeah, you guys went through all of that, and they crawled around the ditches and had a list of culverts that needed to be done. Do it like whatever you wish. I'd let it crawl around the culverts and do it over.
Well, the thing is, by now, though, when we see it, it needs to be right now. I mean, it's a place to start. If they say they were bad, then that's definitely the person you climb into.
You know, it's been years.
But they go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, once they get that galvanizing off them, they start rustling through.
but I know highs.
The motion to leave compensation exactly as it is passes with 24 yes votes and 4 no votes.
The last item on the to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
Don't we set next year's meeting?
What's that?
Yeah, next year's date, right?
No, that's the annual meeting.
That's
Just
all
the
they
annual
can
meeting?
do that.
This is the one when we get the numbers together and we get everything
Okay,
posted properly,
okay.
then we can have the meeting. Can we do this with my hand, people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, raise your hand.
Why don't you say aye? It's the yours.
It's unanimous.